So then I became a pharmaceutical rep, and my product, I was a dermatology specialist, and my product was for women who had mustaches.
Nice.
It was, yeah.
You were doing
can you imagine?
a very important service.
Yo, my man, can you imagine?
Okay. God bless you.
And we are live. Okay. Thank you for coming out to the Luxury and Mayhem podcast once again. This is episode number 5. We appreciate so much all of the time and energy you guys have dedicated to supporting us, and we will hope that you continue to do so. We hope that we're bringing you the kind of content that you want and you need in this industry, and we want to grow and be what you guys need us to be. So leave us a comment, bad or good. We want to know how we're doing. We want to know what you guys want to see. If you guys have any fighters you want to see, any people you want us to highlight and bring out into the light, please let us know. Hit us up on Instagram, any of our social media. We'd be happy to hear from you. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button in the corner. Go subscribe. It's free to do. We'll wait. All right, so you guys should have got that done now. It's time to move on. So today for episode 5, we brought you guys the gatekeeper, the most premier matchmaker in all of Southern California, Nevada, and Arizona. This man is doing it big on all levels. He's the one that makes sure that you guys get into your fights. He's the one that makes sure that you guys are matched up evenly. He's the one that makes sure that all your paperwork and all your medical is done and that you guys get a chance to step into the octagon and fulfill your dreams. If you don't know who I'm talking about by now, you should. And if you guys are new to the game, let me be the first to introduce you to the one, the only, Harvey Castellano. What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
How you doing, Kali?
Good, man. Good. One of my brothers in the game. We have been down for quite some time now, and I'm happy to see you here.
Short time, but a lot done in that short time.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. And in addition to my man Harvey, I have got one of my very good friends, brother that I've also known for a very long time, 30 plus years, El Jefe Loriano.
What up, Kali, Harvey, how are you?
Good, brother. Good.
All
good.
Right.
Good to be here. Thanks.
So I bought both of you guys on the show at the same time because you guys are both New Yorkers, if you guys can't tell from their accent.
Well, I'm happy that you sprung this up on me like last minute. I had no idea this was going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I know that if I try and tell people what's going to happen, then it ends up going left real fast. So it's usually best to just sneak up on them. And your schedule is so crazy anyway. You're always in and out of the state. So, I mean, just trying to get you into a position to even be here was hard enough. Yeah. I think trying to get you here was like how you feel trying to get fighters into matches.
Oh, yeah. But, we always had that on the schedule pending. And we're finally here, so let's do this.
Let's do it. Salud.
Salud.
All right.
Salud.
Jefe doesn't drink right now, so he is air
Understood.
cheering.
Airball.
Air cheering. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Tell the people. Obviously you're from New York. What part of New York did you hail from?
I was born and raised in Elmhurst, Queens, New York.
Elmhurst.
Hurst is first.
That's right.
What part of New York is that?
Going to be the Queens area.
Queens.
Well,
New York
yeah.
City,
If you're not familiar with the geography, the Bronx is a northern part, right up above Manhattan.
Okay.
And we are east of Manhattan Island and south of the Bronx.
And south of the Bronx.
Yeah.
Okay.
Queens and Brooklyn are technically connected.
Yeah, but the Brooklyn is south of us.
That is right.
So I know Queens and Brooklyn have their rivalries as far as the hip hop game go. What is the camaraderie between the Bronx and Queens?
No, well, it really wasn't Brooklyn and
Was it not
Queens.
Brooklyn?
No, it was more
do I got
Queens.
That wrong?
It was Queens and the Bronx. There was at one time it was going back and forth.
It was. I'll tell you like this.
Okay, I keep hearing the Brooklyn keeps on taking it part in my head. That's why. No?
Listen.
So I got the wrong hip hop bar?
Well,
No. Listen. Everybody's going to rep their borough differently, right? So, listen, I'm from the Bronx, The Bronx, if you ask a dude from the Bronx, like, who is, pillaring the boroughs in, he'll probably be like the Bronx. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But the way we see it from the Bronx is Queens always had the flyest dudes. All the drug dealers, all the style in Queens was always just crazy.
Okay.
So we always had Queens and the Bronx always definitely vibe. And
I can attest to that. You do be coming on fight night. You got the dibs. If anybody checks out your Instagram, man, the coats and the gear that you be wearing on fight night is up to par. I gotta give it to you.
Well, I had to step it up because of Carlos. Carlos took it to another level, and it was just suggested that we went Carlos Kramer that night.
Okay,
all
right.
When I saw it, I got jackets in gold and I got it in silver because I knew that one day we were going to have a Carlos Kramer night. So
he said we going gold and silver, covering all the precious metals.
Yeah.
So what was life like growing up for New York for you?
Yeah, all Queens. I grew up I did Catholic school throughout my whole life. From 1st to 8th grade, I was at St. Bartholomew. Then I did high school at Monsignor McClancy Memorial, 4 years of Catholic, all boys high school. And then I went to St. John's University.
So you were raised like strict Catholic?
Yeah, which it's very rare, but I still do go to church like every Sunday. It's more of a ritual that makes me feel good. And not to bring religion into it, but that's my reasoning.
So is the rumors that they say about like Catholic school kids, being like all good on the surface, but then like super devious behind the scenes? That true?
You could say that about everybody.
Okay.
It's just one of those things.
So not a troublemaker growing up? You didn't get into?
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay,
but well, maybe it is true then.
Listen.
I got into trouble. Yeah. All right. Well, to get into we're going to open up the hip hop discussion thing. I grew up when hip hop was becoming hip hop. So my part in it, I used to do graffiti when I was really young. So I rode on the trains.
Did you break dance?
Yeah, I did that too. On the cardboard, on the sidewalks in Queens. Did that shit. Did that.
It's okay. We're 18 and up. I tell everybody. It's all good. Sorry if your kids are watching. Just earmuff them. They'll be all right.
Did that in Queens when growing up. So that's why I have an extensive hip-hop background, is because I remember when I was really young, when hip-hop started, when it just began. I saw the evolution from it just being played in cars in Queens to it being on college radio at 12 a.m. to it being played on New York radio at 10 p.m.
on Fridays and Saturdays.
Right, exactly. So I saw that entire progression of hip hop. So that's why, I may have an elitist attitude towards it, but if I hear somebody talking shit, I'm like, man, I'm not even going to engage in the conversation because you're talking shit.
So you are Filipino in descent?
Full. My parents were both born and raised there, and they came to the United States.
Okay, so they came. Were you born in the Philippines?
No, I was born in Queens.
You were born in Queens. Okay,
yeah, I was born in Elmhurst, Queens.
I may be wrong, but I don't know that there is a lot of Filipinos in the. I don't know if there's a lot of Filipinos in New York. Is that a pretty diverse breed?
Oh yeah.
So you had plenty of your own people to hang out with.
Yeah, but from when I grew up, it wasn't like I lived in a Filipino neighborhood.
Yeah,
but there were enough Filipinos around where I didn't feel like I was alienated.
Okay, so because San Diego's got a very huge Filipino community, right? So that's what I'm relating it to.
But it would not be that. Yeah, it would not be San Diego.
Oh yeah,
San Diego.
No Mira Mesas.
No Mira Mesas is way bigger than. Listen, I was born 77, so I'm probably a little bit, maybe a little bit younger than you.
Yeah.
Me coming up, I'm going to tell you, even like Mexican culture and Mexicans, all my peoples out here, all of that. Like in the Bronx, there was not even a base for, I couldn't relate to Mexican culture or Mexican food.
I feel exactly the same way. I did not know any Mexicans growing up in Queens.
Wow.
Really. When I moved to Orange County for the first time from Queens, it was like culture shock.
Okay.
But like, and like I got.
Well, I mean, you
stuff.
had seen Spanish speakers because they've
It's
got
not
Puerto
the
Ricans.
same.
It's not the same.
Like he's not the same. I could
Jeff
tell
is
right
bilingual.
away.
Hefe's bilingual.
It's the, you know, it's culturally, it's the African, you know, it's the black portion of the Caribbean, Latino base that makes us a little bit different.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You know, just heavy African slave influence from early on, heavy Spanish influence, and then heavy native Indian influence from the island, Taino for Puerto Rican and Dominican specifically, and Cubans as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why when I moved over here, it was a little bit of a culture shock.
What and why the move to the West Coast? What made you move?
I had already started at St. John's University, and my father just wanted to
you went
relocate.
You were in college?
Yeah, I was in college.
What'd you go to school for?
For marketing.
Marketing. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It actually tied in. I'm actually lucky to be one of those that went all the way in college and picked the right major.
All right.
You know, often you get people who they went and they're really smart, but they took a major that they're not even have their career in.
I know a ton of people.
Right.
I know guys with biological degrees in genealogy and that are like security guards.
Right. I just happened to pick something right. Moved over here. What was the question?
What made you move?
Oh, my father wanted to relocate the business and export from out of California as opposed to specifically from New York. So we moved to Orange County.
Okay.
And then after living in Orange County for a couple of years, I didn't have a college degree because I went to Fullerton College actually just to avoid paying my student loan. Right? Because if you're an active student, you don't have to pay it, right?
Yeah.
So I would go and I would take these classes and I felt actually when I was at Fullerton College like I was taking a step back to like high school classes.
Okay.
So I didn't really
the
like
level
it.
of education was a little bit lower.
Yeah, and I'm not putting down California education as a whole, but that's just the way I felt when I was in there.
Okay.
So I pretended to go there and I would just drop the classes and then I would re-register again and then I would drop the classes, you know, just so to avoid
working the system.
Yeah, to avoid paying the student loan. But then, I was in a car accident that was really, really bad. I almost died. I got hit head on, and I broke my right femur and my left clavicle. I couldn't walk for like, almost a year.
Okay.
You know? But anyway.
So you said you came for the business. You came. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah. You said you came out because your dad wanted to relocate the business. What business?
Oh, he was an exporter to the Philippines.
So he would buy stuff here in the United States and then resell it there.
Right. Buy stuff in bulk. We would, like those shipping containers that you see.
Wow.
Yeah, we just fill an entire container with shit.
And that's all he did.
Yeah.
So you had a pretty good, keen business, a sense of business growing up too.
Yeah, because I saw my father not have a 9-to-5.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he just built it and did this, you know, and I would see him because he would just go to like a Costco and buy shit, like an entire pallet of stuff. And next thing you know, we're putting it on a container. To the Philippines. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, we would, as a child, I would open up the door and it would be a freaking truck outside of our house in Queens and they're dropping off a whole room full of chocolate. Nestle Crunch.
That is a kid's best, that is a dream there.
Yeah, you think, right? But when you have that much,
you don't want
it wears off real quick.
Got it.
After 2 weeks of having nothing but as much Nestle Crunch as you want. You can't eat that shit.
Now I don't want it at all. It's punishment.
Seriously.
Trying to eat the chocolate. We're going to make you eat a chocolate bar. Sit down somewhere.
No, but I learned quickly about swag because I was able to give that away for if I needed something to swing
trade off,
way.
kind of barter.
Right.
Yeah, that's life skills right there, right?
Yeah, right. And I never thought of that until today.
Yeah, see. So okay, so now back to where we were at. So you've come out to California just to help with the business. You're kind of dabbling back in college.
No, I wasn't helping out with the business. I was supposed to be going to Fullerton College, but I did that
when you kept dropping,
right,
starting and dropping.
But after that life event where I almost died in a car accident, I realized that I need to go back to school, and I felt that moving back to Queens was gonna. I was homesick too, and you would understand why.
Absolutely.
So I was really homesick, and I thought that let me go back to St. John's after I get better, and that's what I did.
How old are we then?
23.
Okay. So yeah, man, you've already done some trekking.
Yeah.
You'd already finished college by this time, by 23, or
no, that's when I
kind of going back and forth.
Yeah.
So accident. So accident, and now you're reevaluating.
So like
life.
when I started off in California for those 3 years, I didn't do shit but avoid a student loan and realize that I had to go back to Queens and St. John's.
So you just wasted some time.
Right.
Got it. Life ending circumstances will tend to put things into perspective for you.
Yeah, and if anything, I wanted to at least get a college degree and have that to fall back on in career wise and stuff. It's programmed in you where today's standards, it's not really considered as valuable as it used to be.
Yeah,
30, 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have a younger sister.
Cool. So and what route does she take?
She lives here in San Diego. Yeah.
She moved when Pops moved out, stayed out when you guys originally came out?
Yeah, she stayed. I'm the only one that moved back.
Okay.
Yeah, I moved back to New York, back to California, back to New York, now back to San Diego.
Wow. And why San Diego?
Because my sister lived here, and she just got a kid, and they needed help with the foreclosure business.
Oh.
Because my brother-in-law actually knew what was going to happen in
Foresaw
real estate
the market.
business.
Yeah.
He knew that everybody was going to lose their home, so we were on we used to have brothers trips, brothers vacations, and he would take his 2 younger brothers and me, and we'd go on like a cruise.
Okay.
And we were getting hammered one night in the club, and he was telling me what was going to happen. He goes, "Oh shit, my flipping days are over. All these houses that I sold to everybody over the last 3
they're all coming
years,
back.
they're going to lose. Everybody's going to lose their home."
Wow.
So, and then he goes, I gotta rethink my business plan. And he told me what was going to happen. He needed to staff his office to be able to handle everybody losing their home. And he had me move out before it started, right before it started. And everything happened exactly the way he said it was going to happen.
Man, that's cool. That doesn't happen.
And that's why I moved over here.
That doesn't happen very often.
It might
to have that
happen
kind of
again.
Yeah.
Right.
Looking at the people currently in charge of this country on both sides of the table. I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. So don't come spouting that political mess on this channel.
Oh yeah,
I'm 100% American, and that's all I claim to be. Yeah. And I just want to see Americans as a whole do better, and this country do better. We don't need to make it great again, and we don't need to change it. We just need to improve it and make it better for everybody. Period.
Well said.
And leave it at that. Right.
Well said.
Word.
Okay, so you go back to school. We go back, we finish, we get our degree. Mm-hmm. Then what? You just 9 to 5 in it now, or what?
No, then I moved back to California, and then that didn't work out. So I moved back to New York with my girlfriend at the time, and then moved back to California, but this time San Diego, 2007. So my life was a whole moving from New York to California, back to New York, and now California.
How did you support yourself during that time?
Oh, I worked out of college. I worked for Philip Morris. I was a territory sales manager for Philip Morris.
Cigarette company?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how I got to know Brooklyn, because I was born and raised in Queens. I've gone to the Bronx a lot because I knew people there, but I never went to Brooklyn. I got to know Brooklyn very well when I worked there. My territory, for people who are familiar with Brooklyn, was Prospect Park and under to, I believe, Avenue U or something like that, from Prospect Park to Avenue U. That was my sales territory for Philip Morris, and that's what I did. And I was a pharmaceutical rep.
That's both sides of the game, right?
This would happen. Everybody
putting people in the hospital and helping them get out.
You know, that's not the first time I heard it. But what happened was, when I was working as a tobacco rep for Philip Morris, we kept losing people to the pharmaceutical companies. Okay. And I saw that, like, oh, so-and-so left. Where'd he go? He went to Johnson & Johnson. Oh, so-and-so left, went to Pfizer, you know, and everybody was jumping ship. So then we got an across-the-board raise. Everybody's money went up.
Just trying to get everybody to stay.
Yeah, get everybody to stay because of pharmaceutical. But that was my first introduction to the possibility of pharmaceutical.
Okay.
So then I became a pharmaceutical rep, and my product, I was a dermatology specialist, and my product was for women who had mustaches.
Nice.
It was, yeah.
You were doing.
Yo, can you imagine?
A very important service.
Yo, my man, can you imagine?
Okay. God bless you.
If my man has experience, and unfortunately I do too.
I was literally just talking about some lady in Costco 2 days ago, and her mustache was thick.
Oh yeah. No. Can you imagine training? You're there for an entire week, and everything for 8 hours, a whole fucking day, is learning about women who have mustaches. Wow.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah, the training was crazy, but I had that. I had a couple of other products in my
What's
bag.
it like trying to sell products to a woman who's got a mustache at the moment? I could just see you trying to sell products, and she's like, "I don't need them." You're like,
No.
Like, let me just have you try.
Okay, but like, when you're a pharmaceutical rep, that doesn't mean that I walk around with a bag and I'm going to women who have mustaches.
Okay, all right.
Hey, I got something that'll fix that shit that's over here. Right. You know, no, that's not the way it works.
Right.
You go and you have a territory where you visit dermatologists.
Okay.
And you bring your product and you speak about it, and you have them write prescriptions.
So you're talking to the doctors, okay?
Right, I'm talking to the doctors.
Okay, well that's a little bit more easy. That's an easier sale.
Right, but you see, the thing is that you wouldn't know unless you were in the pharmaceutical how it actually works.
For sure.
And then you're judged on how many prescriptions does that doctor write for your product.
Okay.
And the numbers show up, and blah 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 blah, and that's the pharmaceutical industry. That's why it's good if you had like Viagra.
Oh yeah,
I used to sell Viagra.
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, wait, man. I didn't know this.
Wait, but
story time.
Wait,
story time.
Not as a pharmaceutical rep, like on the side.
Rep, so.
Yeah, well,
no.
Oh, we're going there.
No. Check this out.
Is this legal? Is this legal to be on?
100%.
Okay, I was going to say
100%.
Has the statute of limitations already passed?
Absolutely. Listen, this is this funny quick story. Shouts my better half at home. She can put the stamp.
Okay, got it. All right. If it's all legit, if wife is involved.
Oh, wifey got a piece of the action.
Yeah, okay.
Many moons ago, there was a job posting. You know what I mean? Like, hey, customer service rep, billing specialist, blah blah blah.
Okay.
What was the publication?
Camino, blah blah blah.
Okay.
There.
Alrighty.
Okay. And so phone call, little phone interview, call back. Hey, we'd like to meet with you. Fantastic. Meet up, little interview, office, everything, right? The products are Viagra. It was one more, too.
I think there's Cialis.
One more. But
Yeah.
This is so long ago, I can't remember the exact name, right?
Cocaine.
But listen, right, tucked away, exactly. But son, let me tell you that we had an entire office filled with people who had jobs, people who were getting paid. One day, we showed up to work, and I'm talking stout business. Very, very stout daily numbers. One day we showed up, there's a police tape up.
Ooh.
You know, feds are there, question everybody. But apparently they knew about the listing. Everything was very solid, you know what I mean?
They just came to do a little checkup.
Yeah.
Make sure everything was...
Well, they actually came to grab the owner.
Make sure there was no hardened criminals.
Yeah, they came to pick up.
I just got that.
Exactly.
You got some.
That was great though. Cali, that was great.
I had no idea you had that.
Yeah, sorry.
That is perfect.
Is it still? I got it. Yeah, like,
Anyway, that's my one Viagra story. Yeah, man. Feds showed up. Shut
Well, wait,
it down.
here's the thing I don't understand. If it's a prescription drug, what was it? A pharmacy that you in? I don't know.
maybe just
How
a
do you-
third-party distributor.
It was an office building that was handling the distribution of this product.
Okay.
Right? But I think that
Legally?
well, that was the problem. I think is how the product was being acquired.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
that wouldn't-
You know, and
little off the truck.
those logistics. Which listen, we were getting official paychecks, all of that.
Hey,
You
as
know
far
what
as
I
I'm
mean?
concerned,
Yo, when I was a pharmaceutical rep in Brooklyn, there were doctors on my list that they didn't exist. I would go to buildings and
they just be
it
phantom
would just
addresses.
be a building with the doctor's name all over it, and it would be multiple doctors, and nobody ever walked in there.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah,
The
New York City got
shadiness.
buildings.
yeah.
The shadiness.
New York City got buildings.
Yeah.
B. Trust.
So okay, so your past is extensive. So I mean, you're from the pharmaceutical industry, and then how does that translate? When do you start getting into the martial arts world?
Oh, okay. Then I moved. Remember, I moved to San Diego because my brother-in-law saw the foreclosure market happen. While I was working the foreclosure market here in San Diego, I went to a networking event and I met Jason Stewart, the owner of Epic Fighting.
Shout out, Jason.
Jason,
Big shout.
Jason Stewart. Everybody knows him. Anyway, when I met him, he invited my brother-in-law and I to go to an Epic fight.
Okay.
And he gave us VIP seats, and that was my first experience to a mixed martial arts event ever.
So Epic was your first.
Yeah,
That was the introduction.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
You didn't train at all. You didn't
No,
participate in any martial arts or anything.
No, I went at that time. I was knocking on people's doors, telling them that they had to leave.
Okay.
And it was just a Friday night, and after work, went to go see MMA fight, my first one ever, and that was Epic 7.
Wait a minute. Knocking on people's doors, telling them to leave. What, you were evicting people?
Yeah, remember the foreclosure market? That was what I moved to California
I didn't
for.
think you were physically like forcing evictions.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would knock on the door, go, hey, excuse me, and I would read their government name on the tax record. I go, hi, so-and-so, Mr. Smith. Yeah, I'm here to tell you that you lost your home. It's now bank-owned, and you have to leave.
Wow. So people didn't. So a lot of people didn't like you. You were bringing some bad news to a lot of people. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure they knew, but still, I can only imagine getting a knock at the door and someone telling you like you've got to go.
Sometimes people don't know. They don't see it coming.
Oh wow.
What if you're a renter, and your owner has been collecting rent from
and
you
not paying
not
it.
paying it?
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Okay.
I've heard of a few cases like that.
Because what's going to happen is that if you know you're going to lose it, right? You're not gonna pay it, but you have a stream of income from the renters that are already there. You know what I mean?
You're just cheating the system when you know you're gonna back out.
Right, exactly. So what they do is the way they look at it is let them find out that it's foreclosed. They're never gonna get the knock on the door. The owner doesn't even live in California or live in San Diego.
Wow.
That's when receipts
Yeah.
become extremely necessary.
But I'm knocking on the door, and like let's say it's Mr. Smith that owns the property, but you're Mr. Jones, and you just rent it from him. Well, I say, yeah, well, he lost it in foreclosure, and unfortunately, you have to leave. And if you can leave by this date, I can give you a check for this amount of money.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
And that's called a cash for keys, where you get cash, you hand over the keys.
I'm trying to give you an out.
Right,
some
and
type
if
of
the property is good, if the property is, they call it broom clean. If the property is broom clean, you know, I can give them the check.
Okay.
You know, you can't take shit. You can't
And
take
bust
like
the walls
everything.
and do it.
Yeah, right. That would be the bank's insurance that you don't damage the property on
Now,
the
are
way
they
out.
getting back the amount of money that they rented, or is it just a
No,
check that's
no.
big enough for us to convince you to leave now?
No, it's a check that's no. I'm going to tell you, it was never more than $5,000.
Wow.
They would specifically tell you that you, if they want more than
Take it out
$5,000,
with the owner.
no. If the tenants want more than $5,000 or the owner wants more than $5,000 to move, let us know and we'll just have the police take them out.
Okay.
Not take them out, lock them out, which means that
legally.
the police come to your residence and they knock on the door and they tell you you have to get out, and there's a locksmith. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That can be done by the police
yeah. But
and
but,
the
but
sheriff.
right, but what there's a date and it's scheduled. It's not like you call them up and they show up. I tell the bank, so and so's not moving. They don't want the cash or keys, and that's it. And then the asset manager would one day call me. Maybe it's a week later. And it's never a week later. Maybe about a couple of months later, and they tell me that on this date, meet the cops at 10 a.m. and we're going to be doing a police lockout at this address.
Whew, that's sad.
Yeah. So I've done it all, from knocking on the door to giving them money to move, to seeing a police lockout, to people not moving because they're crackheads and meth heads and they live on the property and they don't want to move.
Squatters.
No, they were part
the
of their
tenants.
family
Oh, okay.
with the people who live there, and they just had an RV in the driveway, and they refused to move the RV unless I gave them money.
Oh man.
And, yeah, that worked out.
Did you?
Yeah.
There you go.
He said,
Yeah.
we could.
No, like let's say you're okay. I'm gonna give you a real world example. Let's say you were losing the house, right? And you had a family member that was a crackhead or a meth head, and they decided, well, I ain't getting no money from that cash for keys. Well, I'm not moving my RV. And this is the day that I got to give you the check.
Yeah.
So this is what happens. You and I go. I give you the check. You go cash it. You give me like $500.
I give it to him.
Then I go and give it to him.
Making him think it's.
But it has to be on the sidewalk already. So I tell these meth heads,
Move yourself by the sidewalk.
if
I'll
you
hand
can
you
have
money
it on the sidewalk, I'm gonna bring you $500 cash.
today.
And to them, that's like,
Oh no, for sure.
that's like $10,000. $500 cash is like $10,000 to a
crackhead?
crackhead
Yeah.
or meth head. So they grabbed all their meth head friends and they pushed that thing out to the sidewalk. And after I gave him the $500, and then I had business to speak with the owner, it was out on the street with smoke coming out of the top and Little Caesars, the $5 cheap ass pizzas like this, and they were feasting like Thanksgiving and smoking up in that freaking RV.
He said that $500 went well. At least they knew how to spend it. When you got some $5 pizzas.
So that was probably the most interesting cash for keys thing in foreclosure that I've dealt with. But I have like mad. We could do a whole podcast
I'm sure.
on just evictions.
Yeah,
and what I've seen.
That sounds like a crazy business. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Now you're doing that, and then you're thrust into a show.
Right.
How does the show? Yeah, how does that translate from? Obviously you must have took to it. You had a pretty decent experience, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but because that's the first time I ever saw it.
Okay.
And that's the first time I ever saw ring card girls like that.
He said that was the first
Like,
one.
up close like that.
Yeah, like not on TV.
Right, like in person.
It makes it, it's
like,
part of the experience.
Like sitting where you are right now.
Yeah.
So that whole MMA experience, I got it.
Okay.
I really got it that night. And that was just because of the being in the real estate industry and just meeting Jason Stewart. But you fast forward a little bit more after I got that experience. One of my friends from back home in Queens, he called me, and his favorite MMA fighter was Brandon Vera.
Okay.
Okay, and this is like a childhood friend of mine I known since we were 6 years old.
Okay.
His name's Arnold Gonzalez, and he called me while I was working in my office, and he said, hey, my favorite MMA fighter has a gym where you live, and can you check it out and maybe give me a T-shirt or whatever?
Something
from
signed
there?
or something, yeah.
Right. And when
Everybody
I went
thinks that in LA, in California, we just have access to celebrities.
Yeah,
Like
right?
you can just go to their house and just
No, but
he'll be
this
there.
was-
Just go get me a shirt.
This was no. He was
probably
like
was there, though.
he owns a gym
Yeah.
in my neighborhood, Alliance Training Center, and it
Okay.
was Brandon Vera.
Shout out to Alliance.
Yeah, so at that time, I didn't pay any mind to the request, but when I went to go pick up my dry cleaning, I realized, oh, that's where Alliance is, right across from my dry cleaners. So I went in, I got something for him, and I realized, oh, this is where the gym that Brandon Vera owns. So one New Year's, UFC 125, I happened to be in Las Vegas, and I was with my entire family, my mother, father, sister, and we did New Year's, and I saw that Brandon Vera was fighting on the card while I was in Las Vegas.
So now
I
you're
was
like, I'm gonna put the name with the face.
right, and then also too, remember, I just come from watching my first MMA fight. Let me watch it on the best platform, the
biggest
UFC.
level. Got it.
UFC 125. I believe it was called Resolution 125 Resolution. It was January 1st, and I'm looking up tickets for the fight. Oh no, actually, I was looking for a bar
To go watch
in the
it.
casino to watch the fight, right? And then my sister goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Oh, yeah, I'm looking to find a spot to watch the fight." And she's like, "Where's the fight?" I go, "It's over here. I think it was MGM Grand." She goes, "So you're going to a bar to watch a fight that's here in Vegas?" That's all she said. And I just went, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah, you're right.
So I actually went. I went to the fight. And I believe my ticket, it was a nosebleed, real cheap seat. I believe it was like a $1.25, $1.50. And I got to get the full experience of a UFC fight.
Okay. Very invigorating.
Yeah, and what I saw, other than the fighting, was that in the fan base, it was very diverse. There were flags from so many countries that were out in the UFC audience that you never see in a sporting event.
Yeah.
Unless you're at like the Olympics.
No, for
You
sure.
know?
Yeah.
So every country that had a fighter that was on the card, they were represented with a flag. So you saw Brazilian flag, Japanese flags, whatever.
Mexico, everywhere.
Right, everything. And I saw that the sport was global. Okay. And it was in what in marketing is called a product life cycle. It's in the growth, maybe in the introduction stage. Growth. No, it's in the growth stage. It's growing. And it hasn't peaked yet.
Correct.
And in my opinion, it still hasn't peaked.
I don't believe so either.
Right? It hasn't become the biggest household thing that
Like football or basketball.
right,
like baseball,
exactly. It's not household yet. So there's that plenty of growth for the business. But I got it. When I went to that fight and I saw it live, I got it. I understood.
Okay.
You know, I go, wow, this is something. This is something that's going to blow up to be like a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I saw it on the rise from 125 to now. I don't know even know how many UFC fights I've seen live.
Yeah.
But
270s.
Yeah,
I saw the Brandon Vera fight. I remember also seeing the co-main event was Chris Lieben versus Brian Stan.
Wow.
Shout out Chris Lieben.
Shout out to Chris Lieben. Now, here's the funny thing: as a person who had no knowledge of the UFC or MMA, I looked at that fight and I go, okay, that's the guy that looks like a dad who's fighting a crazy dude with red hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just caught that, and I saw the energy that Chris Lieben brought in there, and that was, I remember thinking that from watching that fight. Somebody looks like a dad versus some crazy dude with red hair.
Diversity.
Yeah, and that was the co-main event, and then the main event was Frankie Edgar and Jesus Christ, my name's skipping me right now. But that turned out to be a Gray Maynard. That turned out to be an excellent fight.
Beast.
Yeah, it
Both
was
savages.
a crazy fight. But I got it, and that was a great way for the UFC to be introduced into my life.
Okay.
So that changed everything. I also, there was a turning point where I thought, I was never a guy that went to the gym. Okay. And I thought, you know what, let me do something physical to get in better shape. And I was thinking, what better than to train, not on the fighter level, but like the introduction level and like the soccer mom class, you know, to at least get an experience of technique or whatever, you know?
Just to kind of get your feet wet.
Right, exactly. Because I was such a fan about it, let me
Make
start
it relatable.
to do it. Yeah, and then by that time, I was already going to a lot of epic fights. So it went from 7 to whatever, 10, whatever, and I was.
So your first epic was number 7?
Yeah, my first one was 7.
We are on 51, people.
Yeah, 51. Yeah. So after that UFC explosion, and I was after meeting Jason Stewart, I went to a real estate meeting one time with him, and I was telling him that you're missing somebody doing social media live from your fights. And his reply was, well, why don't you do it? And the way I looked at it was I could get to sit cage side and just let people know what happened, but I can get cage side. So I didn't have to pay.
Really soak it up, yeah.
Right. I didn't have to pay for a VIP seat. You know what I mean? So right away I was thinking, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So I did that as the social media guy for Epic Fighting up until Epic 27. And when the Matchmaker thing opened up, I did Epic 28.
So leading into this, you had absolutely no matchmaking skills.
No.
And
No, the way I looked at it was, wait, I get to pick who gets in the cage. But by that time, I was already a big fan.
No, yeah,
so
you're diverse.
It's not like I'm, I have no knowledge of anything.
No, yeah, if you're doing all the social media, you're there watching all the
Right,
fights.
right,
You're learning.
right.
Yeah,
So I got to be like, basically the way I look at it, Jason handed me a blank canvas and gave me the paint.
Okay.
Okay, and he said, and the way he is, he's very hands off. So he never tells me do this or match this person with that person. He's like, hey, what's going on? Okay. That's it. So I have complete freedom of the card, and that worked out in from 28 to now where we're at right now, and I couldn't be happier with the progress.
So tell us about the first event you ever did. How was that?
Oh, the first event wasn't even at the 4 Point Sheraton because they had a no fight policy at the hotel. After 27, they weren't allowing fights to happen over there. So we did it at a rave club called Somewhere Loud.
Somewhere Loud. That's in San Diego?
Yeah, here in San Diego.
Okay, never heard of that place.
Yeah, but that's where we did it at a like a rave spot.
How many people did you say that first event had?
Maybe 900.
Wow. That's pretty decent. That's decent crowd size, especially. Yeah. Well, you're 20 shows in by then, right?
Yeah, I guess if I had to ballpark it. But also to remember, when you have that many people, it's not like you have 800, 900 people that pay to admission.
Got it.
You know,
you got a lot of friends,
there might
family.
be if you break down an MMA fight and on the business side, a lot of times maybe 30% are free, like sponsors. It's included with sponsorship. You know, there's a lot.
Friends and family, maybe.
Yeah. Well, also too. Yeah. Fighters. Well, with Epic Fighting, we're able to, like, if a fighter needs tickets for one reason or the other. But a lot of them go to charity. A lot of them go to the sponsors because their sponsorship package includes a table.
Got it.
You know, at every event, and it will have your logo on the table. So you're guaranteed that in the VIP section, out of about 30 tables, a good 15 to 20 of them are taken up by corporates. It's kind of like
Sponsors.
a luxury box.
Got it.
For the NFL or for MLB.
That's awesome.
You know, that if you have to do an analogy. So out of the 30 VIP tables, normally at least 12 are comped. Not comped, but included.
Sponsors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, those are people who help the show go. So,
right.
So,
and that's a part of the business that would take another podcast to speak about the financial part of the business, because everybody thinks that it's $1 billion business and Epic Fighting is making $1 zillion, where, I know exactly to the penny, and it's nowhere near what people think.
What are some of the first steps?
What do you mean the first steps?
Some of the first steps you consider when putting a match together?
If they're on the same level. Like, because in Camo, I'm going to be dealing with people who have never done it to people who already have 20 fights. Okay. So I have to look for somebody who it would never be a mismatch. Well, I can't say that it would never be a mismatch because when it's amateur and it's not paid, you have a lot more fallouts and excuses for not fighting because they're not motivated by the money.
Got it.
But then that would be the thing, right? Like the guys who are extremely motivated, regardless, versus guys who are kind of just like...
Oh, you can tell.
Mediary.
You can tell because there are people who I can just tell by the conversation if they are serious. I mean, I've been doing this long enough to be able to weed out the fake fighters from the real fighters. Right. There's some fighters that all they got to do is drop the name of their gym. Okay. But if I'm talking to the fighter and I'm never talking to the coach, I'm able to tell right away that there's something going wrong.
But is it just like a verbal thing that you need, or do you go like see the fighter?
Oh, no. A lot of times at weigh-ins is the first time I ever met the fighter, and it's more than 50% of them. Yeah. Okay. But here's the thing. If I was judging a fighter and all of a sudden I got a phone call from a guy who I never knew before, well, my first thought is, okay, if it's from the gym that I deal with, he trains there, but why is it that I'm not talking to the main head coach at that gym? So right away, that's a red flag. Okay. So I'm like, all right, you're training from there, but you're not part of their amateur team. So
each gym has a team or that they have that represents them, or guys that they're building specifically, or how does that work? Yeah, like
if they said their gym name, I would speak to the coach. Then the conversation ends. Okay. And I speak to the coach because that is the final say of the fight. And
not the fighter.
No, not the fighter.
A fighter can't just come to you on their own and be
they can. They can. But if I'm not speaking with the coach, then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that you're not as serious. I'm not taking you as serious because I know that you don't have an end goal of being in the UFC or being a professional.
Otherwise, you'd have a coach.
Right.
Because gyms, when they identify talent, they kind of solidify their position around that talent, right?
No, but here's the thing: is that just because you train at a gym, that doesn't mean that you can wear that gym or fly that gym's flag, proverbial flag.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that the good coaches in a gym, right? If they identify a guy, who's really good, right? There's probably more chances than not this is going to be a guy that they try to kind of corral to represent the gym, their group, I'm assuming.
Right. And if let's say you belong to a gym and you were paying your membership and you were training there, but you weren't part of their amateur team, you can't fly the flag. You can't say that 100%. Fighting out of this gym in San Diego because you are not part of their team. They represent. You can't. You're not branded by that gym.
Right.
Okay. Right. Because if you're not ready, they might not let you fight, but you still want to fight.
Right. You got to get jumped into that thing.
Exactly. Something. No. You know what? Actually, you do. You actually do with Shark Tank.
Okay.
Yeah. They got to test you. Are you good enough to represent our gym?
Yeah.
But I often get people who it's funny because I deal with a lot of BS, and I'll get a fighter who goes, yeah, I want to take a fight, and I'm representing this gym, and later on I'll find out they just signed up for like the free
trial class.
The trial class, and that entitles them to represent that gym. Well, that's not the way it works.
No.
You know,
No.
But the bad thing is I don't.
We got a
find that
90-day
out.
probationary period on these things.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is that like a lot of times, reputable gyms, sometimes the coaches aren't that involved.
Okay.
Okay, and you know, like I'm willing to deal with the fighter because it's a reputable gym and they don't have a rule that I can only speak to the coach.
Got it.
Okay, so that's the exception to the rule of me not speaking to the coach.
Okay.
I already have a rapport with a gym for 5 years or whatever, and if I hear of a fighter and he drops his name or he drops the gym, all I got to do is confirm that. Hey, this guy's out of your gym. Yeah, he's going to be fighting. Yeah, all right. So everything's cool. Let's proceed. Let's get a fight.
Okay.
You know,
What would you say makes a good promotion?
in my eyes, you have to have a full combination of marketing, of the talent, a brand, and I'm just naming things. It's not like I have a list of 1 to 10, but off the top of my head, the brand is important. The exciting fights, you have to be a step ahead of the competition. And I believe that in the competition of the amateur fighting that we have, we are probably the best in the country. Okay. I wouldn't say at the top yet, but
okay,
yeah, definitely in California.
Definitely
I think
headed in the right direction.
Yeah, in California, I can look myself in the mirror and say, yeah, we're the top in Cali because everything that we have from the marketing to taking care of the fighters and the gear, the gloves, the photos, the video, the live streaming,
right,
the talent. I mean, you know, the numbers speak for itself. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
I heard that.
Dana White, look out.
No, and look, but no. Okay, people say that talk about Dana White and everything, but I feel that the UFC they already got what they got, right? Oh. And they're a marketing machine, and they're at the top of the game. You know, right. Would I ever want to work for the UFC? No, because I feel that I'll be taking a step down.
Is there a number?
Yeah, there's a number.
There you go.
No, I'm not stupid.
No,
there's a number, yeah. But the way I look, because I do get that question, and just to make it for the record, right?
Absolutely.
Would I ever work for the? Yeah. If that number was hit, but I look at it like there's a market that needs to be filled.
That's right.
Okay, and that market is fighting that's in between Camel, epic fighting, and the UFC. That's what's lacking. So I believe that maybe getting involved with something that's on that level, where I have the full control of epic fighting or matchmaking for Camo, sure. But on the CSAC level, the pro level, and once I can get that blank canvas to put the pros in San Diego or in California, game's over, son.
You know. And I don't know, correct me, but it seems as if we have a number of pro fighters out of San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego's a little baby
right?
mecca.
This is like kind of like a little haven, right?
Yeah, very well kept secret.
We can do an entire podcast just specifically on the fighters that are on the come up and the fighters that have already been in the UFC that came from
exactly,
and that still reside here.
Yeah.
Number of top notch fighters.
The only thing
and women
that I haven't experienced on my level yet is one of my fighters wearing a strap in the UFC.
So
that'll happen. I know that.
How have you gotten any fighters into any of the bigger promotions?
Yeah, I got just recently. Juliana Killer Miller is like the pride and joy of epic fighting. because she actually was on the first card I ever did.
Wow.
Epic 28.
Wow. Okay.
And because nobody would fight her, she did a jiu-jitsu
Grappling event.
grappling event with Jasmine Stewart, Jason's daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, and then after the event was over, Jasmine went to the front and was taking care of the door right after.
Nice.
Business.
Multitasking.
Yeah, that's business.
But that was,
Shouts.
yeah, Juliana was at Epic 28.
Shout out to Juliana Miller. If you guys don't know who Juliana Killer Miller is, she is the latest season winner of The Ultimate Fighter. So
Season 30.
Season 30 of The Ultimate Fighter. She took that, went into a house full of women and came out victorious and came out with a contract. And she is right here raised in our backyard. So we shout out to Juliana. So you got Juliana. Anybody else?
Yeah, in the UFC, Spike Carlisle went to the UFC. Now he just fought for Bellator in the co-main event. Have a number right after Juliana Miller made the UFC. Jamal Pogues won. No, he in Dana White's Contender Series. He got a contract.
Okay.
Yeah, him. There's more than I can think of like that are on the come up. That have actually, but I'd say that Juliana probably
That's your pride right now.
Yeah, the pride right now. But we have plenty that are that within the next 5 years are going to be the top of the cream of the crop.
So you do amateur fights. Have you ever actually matched a pro fight before?
Yeah, I did. My first one was actually in Tijuana.
Okay.
Yeah, I brought a bunch of Americans, four Americans to fight down in Tijuana.
Wow.
So that was my first experience doing pro fights where negotiations and then contract and and papers were all signed and stuff.
Is there a big difference between the level of paperwork and stuff you have to go through between versus amateur versus professional?
Yeah, it was not only a culture shock, but you realize that we are not playing by American rules.
Okay.
This is not San Diego anymore.
Yeah.
You're in Tijuana.
The international game is different.
Right. But dealing like commission, the standards for the cage, like the cage, the cage had the hooks in them so that it could be tied with like a rope, like with tension put on it. But then you would see the ending of the
tarp. Yeah.
Yeah. So like if a guy's foot came by, his toe could go underneath it. Yeah, things like that. Okay. Like the walkout was on like sand, like
so it was a little rough, little third world, little third worldish.
Yeah. Now you might think that, hey, what's the big deal? But if you get like a little pebble on your foot and then goes to the ground and it could
scratch your eye.
It could tear you up like a little pebble if it goes to the ground.
Yeah, hit the
eye or even scratch your body.
Okay.
It could be like a knife if it gets sharp or whatever.
Fighters are required to trim their nails before they walk in the ring. So
exactly,
that is the standard.
It wasn't the United States standard that we're used to. Like
so, anything in the United States,
right?
Have you done anything in the United States?
Yeah, I'm putting fighters with currently with Tough Enough. They have a pro show and they have an amateur show that's coming up in November.
Okay.
So I'm not matching that card fully.
Okay.
But they call me for fallouts, and if they...
And Tough Enough is out of Vegas, correct?
Yes, yes. Tough Enough is out of Vegas, which I consider, and in my mind, they are probably the best amateur in the country.
Are they affiliated directly with the UFC, or...
No, they're not affiliated directly with the UFC, but because they are the best in Vegas, the fight capital of the world, they have an edge. Okay. So, like, if you do fight for them in Vegas, you've
got a ton of exposure.
The probability of somebody that's in the UFC being there in the audience is extremely high.
Got it.
And people, they take fights for other promotions because they think, oh, well, I'm gonna get maybe I'll be on this or maybe on that, and somebody will notice me on UFC Fight Pass. Yeah, but you're fighting in Vegas. Think about that. You're jumping the line.
Yeah, by far.
You know,
Especially if you're like coming out of Montana or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that should be taken into consideration. And I believe that with Tough Enough doing a pro show, I believe that that's an advantage that people aren't, they don't know about that yet.
Okay.
You know, like if you're on the come up and you want to get known or see, because think about it, if you go 3-0 and all you 3-0 fights in your pro are in Vegas, well, what's the probability that the UFC saw that?
Is Tough Enough like standard like UFC MMA style?
No, well,
rules or
tough enough is amateur, but it's amateur rules. Amateur has
Slightly different rules, yeah.
Slightly different rules.
For the most part, it's all same.
Yeah, but
different things with the knees and protection and gear.
The fact that they have the promotion game on point and it's the top one, and the fact that it's in the backyard of the fight capital of the world.
Absolutely.
Those reasons, it's, you know.
Yeah, and I've heard of them. So truth, facts.
So is it hard for now? If I'm a fighter, right, and this is for the fighters that are out there that don't really know, or you guys are trying to get into the sport. We want to try and get these questions answered for you. So, what is the if I'm a fighter, what path do I need to take? How can you lay that out for me? Like, what would I want to do? Who would I want to contact? Like, to even just start my career?
Text me, and I'll take it from there. If you never fought before,
From scratch.
yeah. If I get the message and you can get medically cleared and you can get your license, you could pay because it costs money to be a fighter.
How much is the license?
The license is $75 for a year.
And that's just in California? Is that's
That's
nationwide?
just in California.
Okay.
Good question.
Okay.
Because if you fight in another state, you got to pay their licensing fee for
Okay.
that. And it'll probably be only good for a year.
So I imagine like we have a Camo out here. Camo is the organization that manages the amateur fighters in California.
Yeah, they sanction the event.
Yeah,
They make it legitimate.
They are the record keepers. They're the ones that are going to be able to pass on your fights to the pro level and say, hey, this guy is qualified. So I imagine there's a Camo in a body or an organization similar to Camo in every state?
Every state.
Okay.
Yeah, but they won't be the same as Camo in California. I went to a couple of states where I saw like, hey, who does this for us? Oh, they don't have that job position in our state.
Okay.
You know,
So-
they don't have anybody who takes you in and sticks with you in the back and makes sure that you walk out at that time.
Just checking your gloves and stuff.
Do that.
Okay.
Right, no, they don't have nobody doing that.
Wow.
Nah.
So it's still archaic in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been in some states where I feel like, I'm used to this. This is my standard in California, and this state doesn't have it yet.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that they can't get there. You know. I'm used to the California stuff, and they know what they're doing, and that is the level you are at before you go to the pro level. You have to be with amateur, or you don't really have to be, but in this sport,
I would suggest it. The learning curve is steep.
yeah, because the competition in other places is not going to be the top.
Have you done a promotion in New York?
Never, not yet. But I was asked to do a pro card, not a pro card, excuse me, an amateur card in New York at Webster Hall.
Oh.
Yeah, and I know that spot like the back of my hand, so I would have loved to have done that, and I was going to get like 2 or 3 people from San Diego to fly with me and their coaches, and yeah, I wanted to do that so bad.
Now, I know you've got a big event coming up in Tahiti, right?
Oh,
So let's talk about that. You've got an international promotion. You're actually going to be
Yes.
leaving stateside.
this is great that he brought that up. You know why?
Why? What's up?
I just found out.
Going? Am I going? Are we going?
Yeah, all right.
He said no.
On the way here, I found out the reason why it's been postponed for May.
Okay, so it's been postponed.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I'm talking to you about it, and I haven't even messaged or called fighters.
To follow-
all of them. There are still a couple of fighters out there who still think that.
Well,
they're
hopefully
going
this
there.
won't come out before you guys get the call.
No, I'll reach out to them after I leave here. That's what I got to do. But I found out that because, okay, first of all, MMA was not legal in Tahiti. Rahiri dudes was from Tahiti, and he fought because it was illegal. He can't fight there. He came to the United States to fight in MMA in Camo amateur. Okay, he was the first one to leave the country just to do that.
He's like the Michael Jordan of Tahiti as far as MMA.
Excellent.
Shout out Rahiri Dudes.
Excellent analogy. That is 100% on point.
Rahiri Dudes.
Rahiri Dudes. That is an amazing name.
No, it is. It's dope.
Yeah.
Right off the top. Yeah.
Okay. Shouts to my man Dudes.
Yeah, but I believe that if you spoke in his native language, like pronounce Haere, do this, something like that. Yeah, but in English, speaking,
I'm not going to slaughter that. I'm already slaughtering that is. I'll just leave it previously slaughtered.
Yeah. So because he was the first person to leave the island and to train in San Diego and to make a following in Tahiti because of the sport, he was like the first one. Then he started bringing other fighters over to San Diego to fight. And now he has a whole army of fighters. He has a gym down there in Tahiti. He's brought me a female champion. You know,
Tahana.
We did an epic fighting versus Tahiti fight card here in San Diego.
Yeah, that was an awesome card.
Yeah, and here's the great
Those guys
thing.
showed a lot of grace, a lot of class.
I didn't step into this business being a matchmaker with Jason. It being at the level that we're at now, there was a lot of growing and all that, which you are very familiar with because you've been with us to see a little bit more of the growth.
Correct.
You actually put the growth on steroids to give an analogy.
Thank you.
There we go.
So, oh God, where was I going with this? So at the level of, I was comparing the levels.
Tahiti's. We were talking about Tahiti and just how he had brought it out here.
So we come from the show not being where it is now, but it also comes from me and Rahiri just sitting together and going, maybe one day we can do a Tahiti versus USA card. Just a conversation, speaking with him about it for it to actually happen.
To now.
Which you were a part of. You were a part of that first show.
I love that. It was an awesome show.
Which grew into the card being there, a Tahiti fight card being there, and on the pro level,
which is first for the entire island.
Exactly.
So we're talking about MMA history.
Yes, and we're bringing Americans over there to do their pro debuts, in Tahiti. But here's what happened: because it's election season,
politics.
Politics got involved, and it is not the appropriate time to do that during this season.
Okay.
So
we're just going to postpone it.
They wanted to move it just specifically for that reason.
No, yes, it should have its own shine. It shouldn't be.
There are a hell of a lot more details, but
yeah.
I wasn't at that table when that meeting went down.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But that is the reason why. And May 5th. We're looking at
that's still pretty cool though. I mean, just the fact that you're giving you coming from not having any experience in this sport or in this industry to just being a super fan to now providing opportunities for fighters to be able to literally go make their pro debuts in paradise.
And it happened all organically. It wasn't like somebody showed me the ropes or said, "Hey, why don't you do this?" You know what I mean? It's just like I just jumped into it, and I gotta mention though that a guy by the name of Jay Tan, he was a matchmaker in Los Angeles for the U of MMA.
Okay.
And when I went to see the Los Angeles show, I saw things there that I wanted to emulate. Okay. I saw a standard that I wanted to hit. And I felt that the epic fighting shows that we had that we were doing at that time weren't on the level of the product that they were doing in Los Angeles. So I got to give it to them for making the product that I wanted to be.
Setting the bar high.
Setting the bar high. Exactly. Yeah.
What would you say was the difference? Fighters or marketing or both?
Everything. Everything.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw better marketing. I saw better fights. Okay. I saw it being a lot more professional than I was used to dealing with in San Diego. So that is why and he's seen me work, why I'm very anal about the way things roll
Sure.
in the business.
Right.
You know,
Makes for good detail on the back.
yeah, and I'm over, and that's almost to a fault because I focus on a lot of details when I should be looking more on the bigger picture. So being a perfectionist that's kind of like the little bit of drawback, but then I catch myself and I go, all right, well, calm down. Let's look at the bigger picture, you know. But that goes with the enthusiasm and the sincerity in the business.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve. Like what happens during a fight that just makes your
during
blood,
a fight? What do you mean?
in the build up to a fight. Obviously, you know,
Okay.
there's a lot that goes into a fight card, but what is your biggest pet peeve? Like what's the one thing that you're like, man, I wish that I could
Fallouts.
What is a fallout?
A fight that doesn't happen. Because they're not motivated by fulfilling a contract, a pro contract. A lot of times, not all the time, but you'll get a fighter who's not as motivated as his opponent.
Okay.
So maybe they're not really training as hard for it, and maybe they're not cutting the weight that's necessary to make that fight. You know, that might not. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not a real fighter. It just means that they're not as motivated as their opponent to take that fight. And if it means that they don't make weight, well, then that throws away the fight. You know what I mean?
Got it.
A lot of times what they do is they lag on their medicals and their licensing, and that's their excuse, just putting it off until the end.
Okay.
You know, and that's kind of like what is that new terminology called? Silent quitting or whatever. What is that new stuff?
Passive. So I would say like a passive.
Right, silent quitting. Yeah. Is that what the new?
I have no idea.
All right,
I can't keep up with
it's kind of like that. It's kind of like
ghosting.
I'm not going to pull out. I'm not going to pull out of my fight.
I'm going to ghost.
But I'm going to make this the reason why I don't make that fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Okay. So kind of preparing an excuse. For later.
Yeah, and it's set up because they can always claim that, oh, my blood, blah, 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 didn't make it. Well, you didn't take it when I told you to, or with the right people that I told you to take it.
Okay.
You know? So
what I'm gathering is fighters, if you're serious about your craft, don't approach this man about taking a fight or.
But that's not that.
No,
that's what I see with the ones that fall out. But like, that's not everybody.
Okay.
But I can weed out the real fighters from the fake ones.
What in that case? Let me rephrase the question. What are the good qualities that you look for in a fighter?
Okay, if I never heard of somebody before, and they first messaged me, I asked them, what team are you from? Okay. Then I can make a judgment, because if you belong to a real gym, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to take you seriously. If you say Bob's Garage Gym and you're training with Bob after you get home from work, I don't know his background. I don't know where it is.
Hey, shout out to Bob. Bob does a good job.
But I'm just giving you an example.
Bob's MMA, El Cajon Boulevard.
It's not. But it's not.
Shout out.
Here's the thing. It's not always 100%. Oh, I never heard of you. You're gonna suck.
Okay.
I may not hear of any of your background or stuff, and you come out to be a monster.
Get a barnyard fine.
Right. You know what? Like you have something, like a diamond in the rough, but you just happen to take your first fight with me.
Okay.
And I find something. I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that. You know, or
What's
they're
the
a natural.
percentages?
Oh, that's very, very rare. You find like to find that guy, you find him like once every couple of years. You find that guy that, oh my God, who's that?
Okay.
And the funny thing is, often a lot of coaches will, yo, who is that guy? Does he have a team? Who's you know what I mean?
Right.
You know?
So you go both ways. So sometimes you end up, have you ever matched a fighter with a gym? Like say you've come across a fighter?
I don't. Yes, I do. Like if I'll ask a fighter if he doesn't have an official team, I'll ask him where he lives. And if he's geographically close to a real team that that gives me fighters all the time, I'm gonna lead him there.
Okay.
You know, sometimes a fighter who happens to be a diamond in the rough gets a fight with me just to get his feet wet or bucket list thing or whatever. And another coach sees him, and the next thing you know, he's training there.
Got it.
You know, and they saw him in the locker room, and they approached him in the locker room and they say, "Hey, where do you train at?" And and they get them right there. Or if they don't even have a corner, sometimes their corner is their best friend from high school. and as he's the one guy, and he has no idea what he's doing there, but he paid his cornering fee.
And he's showing support.
Yeah, then maybe another coach would see that and go, hey, who's this guy? He's like, oh, yeah, he's my best friend from high school. All right, I'll corner you.
Yeah, you need a corner. Let me.
So there could potentially be uncoached guys fighting fights.
Yeah, the guy that rolls in and his dad's there.
Okay.
And
Legit, just funny story. Anthony Orozco, we just had him in. His first time ever sparring with anyone. First time ever getting in the ring to actually look at another person was at an epic fight. He had never done any MMA training up until that point. He I don't want to give away the podcast, but he basically joined the gym. All right, he basically signed up for Epic, then went and took 4 free 1-week trials at 4 different gyms to prepare for the fight.
Nice. There you go.
And once he was there, Coach Chuck, shout out Coach Chuck,
Charles Martinez,
and
Coach Chuck,
and Vince
Salvador,
and Vince over at the arena saw him and took him under their wing, and he's been a beast ever since.
Yeah. Shouts loopholes.
You know.
Now for everybody listening at home, you love that transition. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew he was bringing that up.
Yeah,
I led you down that road. That was the story. He covered him. He just covered him in the podcast.
That was the underhand.
I opened it up.
That's right.
I'm telling you, we gotta make this a normal thing. If you guys think that we should make this a normal thing, if you guys like listening to Harvey talk and you like listening to his stories, man, please let us know. Give us the shots out. This guy's a wealth of knowledge for you guys.
Yeah, I'll keep it. You know, we've had hours of conversation where those should have been podcasts.
Correct.
You know,
that was part of the reason why we started the podcast.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So
we have quite a few things. Me and Harvey spend a lot of time together. We have some crazy things that we are planning for you guys that we can't just put all out there yet. But let me tell you that this man is constantly working hard for you guys. He is constantly trying to figure out how to push the sport up and how to make things better for you guys and make you guys' experience a little bit more streamlined and faster in helping you guys get to your goals with less resistance. You know what I mean? So that being said, what are some of your visions for the sport going forward? What would you like to see the sport evolve into the future? What would you like to see?
I would like to see more pro regional matches here in San Diego.
Okay.
Because that's lacking. They do have Cage Warriors, which comes from
the UK.
Over there, and has set a home here in San Diego, but we don't have a local one.
Okay.
I'd like to see that because I think that gets in the way of fighters that are graduating the camo ranks into pro before they go into Bellator, before they go into the UFC.
Okay.
You know, I want something professional other than like Combate or LFA. Cage Warriors, which is the stepping stone to the Bellators, the UFC one. They have a big Middle Eastern promotion also too that's coming up called Brave, which Carlos Kramer is the ring announcer.
Okay,
for.
Awesome.
He is very big over there and a very big part of Brave.
And they're going to be doing events here or there?
We've been waiting for Brave to do an event here for a couple of years. It's something that Carlos has spoken to me for a couple of years, and we have just been waiting to the point where Carlos is like, I'm going to have him. I'm gonna have him in maybe an ultimatum. Like,
so
hey,
get us one out here.
Yeah, get it. Do or die. Come on, let's get this going. You said you're gonna do one in the United States. Let's do one already.
This is where the market is. I feel. I mean, it's a growing sport, but I feel like the biggest market is right here in this triangle: California, Arizona, Nevada. I feel like are the three biggest. The biggest states that are really pushing.
I believe that there's opportunity for growth all around the country, but I feel that in Southern California, in San Diego, we know everybody, and everybody goes through epic fighting.
Correct.
Here. They also go through the new San Diego female promotion called Valkyrie Fighting Championship.
VFC.
VFC
2 coming up soon. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, so here in San Diego, we have the amateur market covered, and everybody has their opportunity to showcase their talent on our stages. But I believe that what is lacking is the regular quarterly or maybe every 2 months have a pro show that, you know, people can go 4-0, 5-0 in a pro fight, to raise the eyebrows of people in Bellator.
Without having to like travel to a bunch of roundabout places to get it done.
Or to take fights with
decent like good adversaries.
On Indian reservations with fights that don't really matter against cans. You know, like some guys, they get on Indian reservations and the guy that their opponent is like 1-17.
All right.
Wow.
Seriously. You know?
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah,
that's bad for the sport.
Yeah, but if there's no other opportunity where you live that
you're gonna take what you can get.
Right, exactly. Like, because it costs them to be a fighter. Because if you think about the training at the level of the best in camo and going for a pro career, it's like having 2 jobs. You have your regular job, and you have the I want to be a fighter for the UFC one day job. You know, that's like holding 2 jobs at once, man, because training's no joke.
Yeah, most of the fighters that we have talked to exclusively either work in their gyms to try and offset the costs of living.
Or sponsorship.
Or they're sponsored, or they just, you know, they're relying strictly on their spouses, you know, to hold them down.
Right, yes, that happens too. You'll have a fighter who their wife, they married the right woman, and they
or the right man.
Yes. And they firmly believe in their significant others support.
Right.
So they're able to be a full-time fighter, and they don't have to worry about the bills at home. That does happen.
I can tell you right now, just going to the gym 4 times a week, just training, weight training, cardio, just that stuff is a commitment. So having to go to the gym to be a pro fighter and work as well to fund you being a pro fighter, I can see where there's a thin line between, you know, exceptional and great.
And most of them are practicing twice a day at minimum.
Yeah. Right.
Right. As soon as they wake up,
6 days a week.
They're going to train. Right. And then maybe they'll go to work. And then after they work, then they go train again.
Wow.
You know, so that's
that's like multiple disciplines. You're talking, you know,
so
jiu-jitsu one day, striking the next day. You know, it's crazy.
That might be like somebody carrying 3 jobs that they go to in a 24-hour period.
Absolutely.
You know, like you're doing your boxing in the morning with this guy, and then you got to go to work, and then you're doing your jiu-jitsu at night with this person, you know, with this gym. And a lot of times it's not at the same place.
No, correct.
You know?
Yep.
That's a lot. And then, you know, what if it's far?
There's a large commitment, you know, and which is part of the reason why we appreciate having guys like you who really take the time out to make sure that these fighters are getting in the best fights. They're evenly matched. They're not going to, you know, I've heard the horror stories of guys going into the ring just to be used as a point or an extra win column, where you're putting guys who are 7-0 against guys who are like 0-2, you know, and
understood.
That's a lopsided mismatch, right?
But a lot of times, you'll look at a fight, and on paper, it may be looked at as a mismatch on paper. But if you find out the backstory and somebody's able to explain it to you, it's not going to be a mismatch.
Got it.
You know,
and that's where the expertise comes in.
Yes, like for example, in Valkyrie, we're going to be having female fighters who just turned 18. 18, and they're just 19 now.
Okay,
right. So now they're able to take a fight with camo without pancreation rules, without children rules.
Yeah, correct.
They're able to fight as adults, so they're taking headgear off. They're able to punch in the face. You know, it's not just a body, right? And you've witnessed these type of fights for the USFL, so it's not really a debut. Because if you're getting a debut in MMA and you've had a couple of years training in Taekwondo, that doesn't mean you're at the same level of the USFL fighter. You know what I mean?
All right, so clearly the being able to match a fight is a skill. It's not just something that people can do. I think that comes from you having a lot of time in the industry, over 20 plus years, being able to really spot a fighter's qualities.
Well, if I can't put on my resume that I have 20 plus years. I mean, really doing it, like hardcore, 5.
Really? Okay.
5, 7. Like my, when I first started it, it was like really 7 years ago, my first card.
So you still consider yourself a newbie?
No.
Kind of like in between? Like
No.
I'm getting there?
No, I feel like I'm a newbie with doing everything I'm doing now in pro.
Okay.
Because I haven't had the opportunity yet to have full autonomy or full creative control over a pro card.
Got it.
Yeah. That's what I'm going for.
So what's next on the menu? What do we have coming up? Like what's on the fight? What's the new fight cards coming up?
Well, I have Epic Fighting 51 coming up on 11/11. That is already stacked. Ticket sales are great. Have the main event, Coda versus Leitenberg.
Ooh,
Where
Cutthroat
is-
Coda.
Cutthroat Coda. Yeah, he's a guy that, he's an interesting kid and a future member of your podcast.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, Robert Coda, Cutthroat Coda is very interesting. And I firmly believe, because I've seen it happen, he's the kid that's on the come up. And you will be hearing a hell of a lot about him in the near future.
Okay, all right.
Seriously. His opponent's no joke, though. His opponent's very tough.
Who's he fighting?
Colin Leiterbeck.
Okay. I don't think I've seen him yet.
No, you haven't. This would be his first time fighting for Epic Fighting.
Okay.
He was supposed to fight for me in Los Angeles for another promotion, but he fell off of that card due to injury. I don't recall what it was, but I remember he fell off the card. After Epic 51, in January, I have Valkyrie Fighting Championship 2, which is here in San Diego, VFC 2, and that is an all-female amateur fight card. The Invicta of Camo.
Awesome fight, awesome promotion. Shout out to Libby.
Libby Canella is the
and
Jason
Alex.
Stewart, the Dana White of Valkyrie Fighting Championship. All credit for her for having the vision for an all-female amateur league. And not only the vision, but she did it all by herself with a company called Fearless, and she transitioned that into a new promotion called Valkyrie Fighting Championship. So
Looking forward to seeing big things from Valkyrie. We just did the gloves for them, so you guys will be seeing those hopefully at the next event.
Which I was glad that you have already been doing cards with me, so I was able to bring you over to Valkyrie Fighting Championship.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We love it. We love the energy they're putting out there.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well, your post-fight coverage and everything about just you being at the event adds to the entire package.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, where I have to shout you out for bringing what you brought to Epic Fighting and to Camo, because you are now supplying the gloves for majority of Camo.
Oh, the cat might be out of the bag, but yes.
Shout-
No, you've
Camo.
already been
Thank
doing
you.
that.
Yeah.
No, the cat's not out of the bag. The cat's already been out of the bag.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. I like I said, I told Anthony I do this for the fighters. Their safety is
The cat is out of
part
the
it.
bag and chopped up in a restaurant in Washington Heights.
That's right.
Well, what I was saying,
That's
and
right.
you might be able to help me out with this. What I said on the last podcast was that since we started using our gloves, I don't believe we've had an eye poke in any of the last events.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Not one accidental eye poke. So that is a testament to the to my designers and my production team. I appreciate you guys and thank you guys for all that you guys do in making sure that those products are up to par and that these fighters are safe and able to compete without injury. I love
Yeah, right now he's just talking like that in front of the mirror. He's here like hey, thank you everybody over there, and he's looking at himself in the mirror. Yeah, I did this. No, because seriously,
Snoop said, "I'd like to thank me."
no, you can't
You
do
know what I'm
that,
saying?
but I can.
Well, thank
it
you.
actually started out, and he knows it because it was in front of his desk. I already had discussions with somebody else about one day having a glove, and we were just talking about it, and you asked me what I wanted on the glove, and you just wrote down everything and then sent me a picture a month or two later.
Yep.
And then 3 months after that, they came in your office.
Yep.
You know, and that's how it happened. That's exactly how it happened.
Movement.
Yeah, we don't play around.
Yeah, and now there's Epic Fighting Gloves in L.A., up in the Bay Area.
They turn up in the weirdest places.
Yeah, it's great because a video feed would come up on my YouTube, and I'll click on it, I'll watch it, and I'll see ding, and then he's tapping the gloves, and it's the Epic Fighting Glove.
You're like, that's
on
my
another
glove.
in another
Promotion, yeah.
You know, and yeah, that's a really good.
You guys better get on the ball, because I'm telling you, the Epic train is rolling, and as you can see, they're no slouches. They have the best talent in all facets of the game. If you are a amateur fighter in California, you might want to consider giving Harvey a call for real and getting on the card, because they treat their fighters right. Everyone is dedicated to the betterment of the promotion. They've got people like Harvey, young Ant, who takes care of all the back end stuff. Kano, who takes care of getting the ring set up and making sure that fighters are where they're supposed to be. And that's, it's a testament to them, and we appreciate them for who they are and all the work that they do. So shout out to the Epic team.
Shouts Epic.
That was, why am I getting the looks? I'm not going to.
Yeah, one of the names you just dropped is not part of this.
Okay, so we'll bleep that one out.
Yeah.
We're going to bleep that out.
He's not part of it, and never should have, never will.
Never will be again, huh?
He didn't belong in
Okay,
the
well,
first
shouts
place.
out to young Ant
Yeah,
for doing
shout out
all
to
that
young Ant.
he does
Yeah.
in coordinating
Yeah.
all the behind stuff to cage and
never
making
said-
sure that everybody is where they need to be on fight night, because believe it, it is crazy. Putting those rings together and getting all these fighters organized and everybody where they need to be is not an easy thing to do, especially on fight night.
What I said in my head, and I never repeated it, is we went from young Cant to young Ant.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Young Kant to young
My
Ant.
man right there.
Yes, sir. The behind the scenes. You can't see him right now because he's behind the scenes.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad that he's on the team, and we're going to continue to grow with him on the team.
I'm looking forward to it. What is the next evolution for Epic?
The next evolution for Epic. That's a great question. Next evolution for Epic. Oh, okay. I got the next evolution for Epic is our content being monetized more in the United States and outside of the United States. We just did a deal for our content outside of the United States.
Wow.
Yeah. Our content is being shopped to countries, and we have a great deal with whoever's presenting the product or our content to the country.
Awesome. So we might be taking Epic international.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is that we don't know about these negotiations. We will just see when our feed is being streamed, and it will be streamed live, and it will be streamed in content available in other countries.
That's awesome.
Because if you look at the analytics on YouTube, it shows where people are clicking and watching.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Epic Fighting YouTube analytics, like, we're big in Vietnam. We're big in Tahiti.
Wow.
Yeah, we're big in a lot of countries where we never even knew we had a presence there. But it shows you on YouTube, the pie chart.
I think that's just shows how much you guys really put into the effort that goes into the promotion and making sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
Yeah, the content is there, and I can provide the content. I have the fighters up in here in the dome that will be the future stars. That will be the pay-per-view people in the next 5 to 7 years. We just need a platform for them to grow from Epic Fighting to Bellator to UFC. And that's growth. That's the serious growth here.
Okay.
And we need people like you in the business to provide what they're wearing,
Yes.
to provide what they're putting on their fists. Need that not only to be technically with the specifications that are required, but for it to look dope.
You gotta have the swag.
Gotta have it. It's gotta pop.
Gotta have the pop.
Gotta have it pop.
Fighters have identities, and that's a big part of being a fighter.
And even though we're not allowed to speak about what we have coming up at Epic 51, it was your idea about that extra pop.
Oh, yes.
Which we will reveal at 51.
We can't show you guys the secret for 51, but I can tell you it's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna change the game.
It's another level.
Change the game.
It's another level that we offer for Camo that nobody's doing right now.
Correct.
Like we provide our fighters with the shorts. Okay. They have the sponsors on it. They look like a sponsored fighter.
Yep.
Okay. We provide them with the shorts. We provide them with, you provide them
gloves.
with the gloves. You are the one that sizes them up. And what size you need? Blah, blah, blah. Fit it, You're good? All right. Check his name off your list.
Yep.
Next. They got brand new gloves there. Some of these guys already are going to be having their third, fourth pair now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they constantly fought, they're collecting these.
No, they are. Yeah, and now with the new thing that we're not releasing, it's going to be, we're trying to release new colorways. And that being said, for today's coupon code, we give a coupon code out with every episode. Today's coupon code is Matchmaker. 50% off for the next 48 hours when this episode podcast drops in honor of Harvey. The code is Matchmaker. So get your gear, go to the website, get your 50% off. If you need gloves, you need competition gloves, you need rash guards, they're there for you. Go check the site out, luxurymayhem.com.
Yo, man, I got a promo code, son.
What? Yo, I'm blasting that out to the whole family. You heard?
Yo, I told my peeps down in Queens, I got a promo code, son.
Son, I just sent that to like 30 people. You didn't even see it. You know what I mean? They got it already.
Well, I wish we had more time, man. And we're
going to continue to do this anytime.
Like I said, I think you guys can really get a wealth of knowledge from this man. I want you guys to hit us up in the comments. Please hit us up on all of our platforms, IG, Facebook. Tell them where they can find you, so if they want to get into a fight or start the process, they know where to go.
Just hit Harvey Cast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Spell it for him, Harvey, because I know that is it
HarveyCast.
Bam, Harvey Cast. All right.
Yeah.
So he will take care of you, and rest assured that you'll be in good hands. And
also too, you can also find me at Epic Fighting on Instagram and Twitter. Epic Fighting, and you can purchase tickets for Epic 51 at epicfighting.com.
And
see you there.
When are the seats going? When are tickets going on sale for VFC?
VFC tickets. That's a great question because I don't even know that.
Okay, so we'll get you guys an update on that too.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
We'll put a link down into Epic 51, and we'll put a link down into Epic 52, just in case you guys catch out for the next one. Yeah.
By that time, you were probably going to talk to me or Libby. By that time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I plan on having you back. I love having you out. You're one of my favorite people. The conversation is always amazing. You're, like I said, you're a pool of knowledge, and I learn a ton from you every time we sit down. So I appreciate you coming out. Thank you. I can't wait to see Epic 51. I know that card is going to be off the chain. I know you got some good people on there. Is there anybody you want to give shots out to before we go?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to actually give props to Jason Stewart for providing me this blank canvas to put what I want on there and not ever dictating what I needed to do here. That really means a lot to me. And Young Ant for being the support in the operations, because
shout out Jace.
All you ever see is the fight, but you never know what it takes to get to that point. You see it now.
Yeah, and I know how all the hours that are there before and after the event is over.
Exactly. And I believe that, credit should be given. So that's why I want to shout out those two specifically. And for Libby Canella for having the vision for the Invicta of Camo and for actually making it happen. Because for a woman to do that, there's a lot more barriers than for a man to do that.
Correct.
And it's just an accomplishment for Libby to have it running.
And we're gonna have her on. I talked to Libby today. We are definitely
Yeah.
she's coming on the podcast. We definitely want you guys to see her. She is a force to be reckoned with in the sport and as a female. She's got the complete package: beauty, brains, and the brawn.
Yeah.
And she is ready to go. So
Yeah,
we
most
definitely want you guys to see her as well. Maybe to little guy. I know you got a little guy at home. He probably would love to hear his name shouted out on the podcast.
Yeah, Levi, the little man. I think I'm glad that you brought him up. He might get a kick out of hearing his name on this podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing
My
him
kids
up.
do, so I know they do. Well, man, thank you for coming out. I appreciate you, Jeff. Thank you for coming out. This has been Luxury and Mayhem episode
Kali, Harvey,
5.
good chilling with y'all.
Yo, we gotta get.
Come on,
we gotta
man.
get
We're gonna
into
do
it.
it one-on-one. I ain't even.
No,
Yes, sir.
this is what you
Stop
got to
playing.
do. You got to do a
I got
podcast.
you.
You're the moderator. We talk about Bronx and
I got
Queens.
to.
and-
I will get out of the way.
You're Yankee fans, right? Yankee fan, right?
Uh-oh.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
We are on the Giants and the Knicks level. We see eye to eye.
I'm a
But
Yankees, Giants, Knicks. Listen, listen. When it doesn't interfere, shouts, Padres. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
nah, seriously, once we got eliminated and I saw what the Padres made of their team, I actually was pulling for them not only because I'm here now, but because I thought that they had it. They had a real
I got a
chance.
good shot.
They had a good chance because I thought they could take out the Philadelphia Phillies, and if they take out the Phillies, they're in the World Series. where
Listen,
anything
I don't
can
want to
happen.
go. Listen, Harv, politics, right? I'm very emotional when it comes to the Astros.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody knows what they did a couple years ago and just how that whole thing really stung.
Yeah.
Right? Because the years that the Astros won,
Yeah.
you know, they were cheating. They had robots in the outfield.
Yeah,
you
well,
Yeah,
know what I
but
mean?
okay, yeah, they did that.
But
They
we
did
had-
that.
But if you look at how they played against the Yanks, we played them tough.
Yeah.
The entire series. We almost beat them.
True, but you weren't going to beat them.
No, but we almost beat them.
Yeah, but you know the one thing that the
But
Yankees
we couldn't because they had the advantage.
True, they are the better team. They're like the top of the cream of the crop in MLB. But the Yankees were missing that championship thing that brought them all the rings in the 90s.
No, we were missing nanites.
you were missing
Cameras.
Now he's talking about the robots and the cameras.
Listen, the Astros.
Yo, my man, you know what the Yankees were missing? The Yankees were missing
They were missing the old man.
PEDs. They were missing steroids.
But they were the cameras. Listen, Astros had the cameras.
I
in
know
the
that, but
outfield.
they're clean right now.
I know.
He said,
They're clean.
right now.
Astros are clean. They won legit. The Yankees weren't winning. Without steroids, the Yankees haven't won since Reggie Jackson was in the outfield, son.
But baseball. So
it's
listen,
getting hot.
you're not just talking about the Yankees though, son. You're
Yeah.
talking about baseball.
I'm talking about the '90s with the teams and the Mitchell report and those
But
championships in
listen,
the '90s.
The Yankees got 27 championships.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
in
I
every
don't count.
era.
I don't count
But in
anything.
every era, including the steroid era.
I think I see a
True
match
that.
coming up here. I
100%.
think I see a future
So-
match.
Yo,
we have to take it to the,
listen.
take it to the
but check
octagon.
this one out. Check this one out.
Okay.
I don't count anything that the Yankees in the records or championships that have done before Jackie Robinson played, because that's not real baseball. That's just the best
I won't
team amongst the guys that played before integration.
I won't argue with you on that, okay? Because some of the greats are just the greats, okay? They're never gonna go away. But listen, as far as the game of baseball is concerned, okay, there's people that play it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's people that take it so seriously that they're willing to cheat.
Yeah,
to play
yeah.
it, okay.
I know that.
So there's
Yeah.
still a lot of passion when it comes to baseball. Now keep in mind, son, okay, I'm from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So you already know how the movement of baseball moves
Of
in the
course.
Caribbean. It just
Yeah.
as a culture.
They
of our
dominate.
people, it's a way out.
They're dominating the game right now.
Well, yeah, we have been for a minute.
That's why I will make the argument with anybody that Albert Pujols is 10 times better than Babe Ruth. If Albert Pujols played in the time period that Babe Ruth played, he'd have way more home runs than him.
But Harv, you have to understand, Albert Pujols is going to be a product of time, evolution. Like, you know what I'm saying? So to be like, hey, yeah, we're going to put Pujols over here with Babe.
No,
is- that's like bringing back the Terminator.
My point to this and my argument is that he wasn't allowed to play back then. Okay? If people of color were allowed to play back then, those records that are being held right now and considered unbeatable would never have been
Well,
made.
no, well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen,
You know?
it's right because once, well, you see what happened because once we got involved, once Black culture, Latino culture really got involved in the forefront of sports,
Yeah.
you see how dominant.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
Just a wave of dominance.
I'm putting my money on the Dominican Republic team to win the World Baseball Classic.
100%.
Dominican Republic. And if it's not the Dominican Republic,
PR.
it's Puerto Rico.
100%.
And if it's not Puerto Rico, it's Cuba or Japan.
Probably.
Okay?
I would imagine
I will put
Japan's up there.
Yeah, Japan's up there.
Up there.
The United States
Absolutely.
is always.
Yankees fared well on Japanese talent.
Yeah.
Shouts Hideki Matsui and gang.
But that's because the whole world is looking at the marketing and the brand of the Yankees. So if you don't live in the United States, that's looking as the mecca of baseball, and you have the advantage of getting the players over to New York because of that.
You have the name.
When Hideki Matsui came over, forget about it.
He was I think he was the home run leader.
Yeah, he's the Babe Ruth of Japan.
60 something homers.
Most definitely, the Babe Ruth of Japan.
That is right.
That
is very true. Yeah, he's a beast. Shout.
Sam, look at this. Look, we're going into a.
We're still
were
gonna have to
say
it's
goodbye.
good. We always leave the camera rolling afterwards for a part anyway because conversation like this happens.
We're trying to say
dude, that was gorgeous. You guys have to come on and do just even if you guys come on and talk about baseball.
Yeah, we can talk that. We can
this
talk
is what I'm
about
saying.
the
guys,
Knicks.
You guys have very similar personalities. This is what I'm
Yo,
saying.
my man, you were still living in New York when the Knicks went to the championship with Patrick Ewing,
100%.
with the ball, all the stuff against the ball.
In New York. I was frequenting New York.
Yeah.
Really at the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Luxury Mayhem Podcast, episode 5. We out.
We out.
No, you guys good. You guys good.